Hello, welcome to Always Yarn First. I'm Lindsay. I am a knitter, crocheter, and spinner coming to you from Central Arkansas. I work at ArkansasYarnCo and I'm also a virtual assistant. If you'd like to follow me on my latest yarn and crafty adventures, you can do that on Instagram and Ravelry as Always Yarn First. Welcome in, everybody. Today is, what is today? It is Wednesday. It is May 6th on Wednesday. And if you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for giving my little corner of the world a watch. I do a traditional podcast style, and I hope you enjoy something and stick around. I name every episode after a song title because before my love of yarn was my love of music, and I always find something that is appropriate to my making or life or just that I am feeling right now. So this is episode 110, and this week's song is You Make Me Wanna by Usher. I do have a Spotify playlist that you can follow all of my song titles on that playlist. It is linked below. But you're gonna see that if you're familiar with the song, You Make Me Want to Leave the One I'm With, Start a New Relationship. That's kind of like with one of my brand new cast-ons. I have only wanted to work on that, and you will see that as my very first project here. All right, I think that is all we have. So today I will have no finished objects, a new cast-on like I mentioned, and then 2 whips and a little bit of spinning to show you, and 1 new acquisition. All right, so let's get into it. There will be chapters, timestamps below. All right, so what did I cast on? If you follow me on Instagram, you will see I have posted it over there. But if you've been here a while, I have talked about my giant basket of partial fingering scraps, I guess. I have one basket where it's DK weight or weightier, because there's not many of those I do past DK. But one is all my fingering weight. So when I finish socks, I put what's left over in there, and it is massive. And I've been trying to think of a project that I could do, that one I would enjoy. I don't love every scrappy project I have seen out there. Some of them I just think kind of look like a mess. So I didn't really know what to do, and I've been back and forth and back and forth, and I had printed out a pattern, so I'm sure I talked about when I printed it. When it came out, I printed it out. I put it in a drawer of my desk where I sit and have my coffee in the morning. I watch YouTube, and the idea is I was going to cast on, and then time went by and I didn't, and it was fine. But I really one day was like, I should just see if I like it. Maybe, you know, it would be really pretty. So I cast on. This is in a bag from Woolly Bean. She no longer makes bags, but I have, thankfully, a bunch of her bags. And the project is the Crochet Jelly Roll Blanket by Kay Jones. Now her picture here is stunning with the rainbow colors. You can kind of see it with the light hitting there. So pretty. And then here's kind of a closer up textured one. So pretty. This is for fingering weight held double. But again, great. I have a ton of fingering weight. I can hold it double, no problem. And I actually started because, again, if you've been here a while, I have knit in the past few years many stripy socks. And I have lots of self-striping remaining. So then it's like, well, I don't want to make another sock because I've already done that. So I decided to see what it would look like if I started this project with a self-striping. So here is what we have. So right here is where I cast on. You can kind of see the theme of the skein I had here. I had quite a bit yet. I had about 60 grams. And then see where this is where I changed my yarn into a different one. All of the ones I have crocheted so far are from Desert Vista Dye Works. I had seen that unfortunately Susan had passed away, I believe, and I know she was battling with health issues and she stopped dyeing a while ago. But for 2 years, I did her challenge of knitting socks from beginning to end with her yarn every month. So I did 2 full years of that. So I have a lot of Desert Vista Dye Works. And I thought this would be kind of fun. And I love what it's doing. I finished, obviously, strip 1. So you do the whole strip. And then you start the other one the same way. And then you just do this special little pickup on this side. And then go back and forth. It is not hard. It's so fast. And again, this is a perfect project for scraps because crochet, as we know, uses more yarn. Great. That's the goal of this project, is using more yarn, and it's fast. This is 1 stitch over and over, back and forth. Super easy, super fast, even with the connecting part. Once you get used to what you're looking for to connecting it, it's super easy. I love this, and I love the feel of the thickness of this. Of course, you can't see that through here, but sometimes crochet is extremely dense, so heavy. I love the weight this is giving me. Again, it's fingering held double, and so what I'm doing, let's see, this is the one I currently have. So I'm taking it from the middle and on the outside, and I did that with the other one the whole time without a problem. No problem at all. And I think it's giving off such a cool style with the self-striping. I thought it was so funny, this first one I used, the stripes must have been exactly even, because every time, for instance, this block here, every time I would pick up that pinky peach, I'd also pick up the green. And then it would be these two, these two, these two, these two. It was going exactly to pattern over and over again. I love this so, so much. I would definitely suggest this pattern if you have scraps you want to use up. And you could use a DK weight if you have a lot of DK scraps also. But this has been my favorite project. I pretty much took this to work every day until I had the whole first strip, and then I brought it for the second one. But because you connect it as you go here, I'm like, okay, at a certain point, this is not going to be comfortable to bring with me, unfortunately. So it might be my more in the morning coffee making, or in the evening relaxing making. But I'm going camping this weekend, and I'm definitely bringing this. So I'm going to make sure I have this is what I have left of the one I'm working on. I have another one in here ready to go. This one is Carrera Lake. I'm not sure what this one is, but like I said, you can't get her yarn anymore. But I love, love, love. This project is bringing me so, so much joy. I can't even express it. I'm so glad I finally just cast it on and started it. So here it is, like folded up halfway. So you can see that second strip, I'm about halfway through the second strip. I haven't actually worked on it for a few days because I've picked up something else, which is also bringing me joy, but I really want to get back to this. Now that I'm holding it here, I probably will be working on this after I finish this video. So yeah, crochet jelly roll blanket. 100% definitely would recommend. And I am using, oh no, I don't have my, I think I'm using the pattern. Which hook am I using? A 4mm, size G. Actually, I think I went up. I couldn't find my G at the time, so I'm using a 4.5mm. And she has instructions for this in the UK crochet terms, since she's from the UK, and the US crochet terms. And she has video tutorials. So if you're worried about, especially from everything from starting the project to the second thing where you're trying to go attach as you go, she has videos that walks you through that. So it's very easy to follow. All right, that is all I have cast on. So let's talk about my couple of whips. This feels like it's a new cast on because it is a second sock. So you saw this sock a while ago. So here's the first one. This, there's not a pattern. It's just a vanilla sock. I'm calling it my Helix sock. The lighting's kind of, it's hard to see. And the two yarns I'm using are real light. So I'm using ArkansasYarnCo Wedding Cake in the Yummy Sparkle. And this is the Natty colorway in the Yummy Sparkle. You cannot get this yarn. This was from 2 years ago, so this was in my stash. But we do have a if you like this and you would like something like this, we currently have in the store Lori's Bridgerton collection. AYC Spills the Tea is very similar to this. So if you enjoy this yarn and have wanted one, go to the website and look for that. But I'm just doing a helical knit sock. So what I've done is I've cast on with my 60 stitches. I do knit 2, purl 2. Once I was done with that last, I did 10 rounds. Once I was done with that 10 rounds, I started knitting with the color B, the Nitty Natty colorway. I did 1 round, and then if you've ever helical knit, what it is instead of going all the way up to where the other color is, instead of just striping and switching colors when you get there, when you see the tail of the other color that's waiting for you, 3 stitches before, where the 3rd stitch is where the yarn is attached, you already, so for instance, I'm color B is my Nitty Natty. I do 1 round till 3 stitches. So I drop my Nitty Natty color B, I pick back up color A, which is my Wedding Cake colorway, my white. I slip those stitches just from left needle to right needle, purlwise, yarn and back, just slip them. Then your yarn for the color A should be attached on your right needle, ready to knit. So now you knit a round and you do the same thing. 3 stitches before, you drop your yarn, you move your stitches, knit around. So you're constantly moving where the beginning of that color is to make it more seamless. And for me, I enjoy doing cuff down or toe up socks. I don't mind either one, but this one, because your foot obviously has to be a certain length, right, for what fits you. But this you can play with. You can have a shorty sock or a longer sock or whatever. So what I decided to do when I was doing this first one is, like I said, round 1, I started with the Nitty Natty color. And so while I'm working these colors back and forth, that yarn is all constantly moving where it's starting at. So I was able to do this all the way until exactly, so I think about, fold my sock the way like I'm knitting. So if I'm knitting on magic loop, this is one side of my needle, this is the other side of my needle. So, and I do a short row heel. So I worked it exactly where I was picking up the white wedding cake and I was ready to knit this side. It worked out perfectly. Like I said, I do 60 stitches. So once I picked that up, I just did my short row back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then I picked up, I went right back to the helical. I basically did the white around, then I saw that other color, slipped my stitches, went right back to helical knitting. And it was just that simple. I go to the measurement I needed, and then I just start my toe. So, like I said, no pattern, just my vanilla socks, which work for my feet. But I usually don't have second sock syndrome because I try to, as soon as I bind off, I immediately get my stitches cast on. Because I don't know why, even if it doesn't take very long for a sock, if I don't do it right then, I just think, oh, that's one more like hurdle I have to get past. So I didn't cast on right away, thus the sock did not get worked on. But I cast on. So this is technically a whip because it's sock 2, but it feels like a new cast on. So I cast on my second sock, and I am past the heel, and I'm into the foot. And I'm trying a new method for socks with this one. Maybe not a great idea since I've already done sock 1. I enjoy using magic loop. I enjoy using 9-inch circulars. I do not enjoy using DPNs, but I thought it might be fun to try 2 12-inch needles. So it's kind of like you're using magic loop, but it's 2 needles. So you can kind of see where I'm at right now. It looks like I'm in the middle of working the wedding cake. This is the wedding cake. I'm on the end. So basically I would flip this over and I move my needle because I'm ready to knit, and I take the other side of this 12-inch and I would just knit 2, 3 stitches from where this other yarn is hanging out, and then I'll switch to that yarn. So you can see this yarn's waiting for me right here in the middle, and I just go on and on until I am at my foot length. Very easy. These are very delicate, very girly, very soft toned. But what's funny, when the Nitty Natty color came out, I had my idea all the way back then. Like I said, this was 2 years ago. I had my idea that what am I going to do with one skein? And I thought about doing a helical sock. And I really like just kind of the delicateness of the colors. Those are the 2 projects I have mostly been working on. And those are definitely the 2 projects I'm taking camping this weekend. Who knows if I'll bring more. I'm thinking about bringing my e-spinner. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. But let's talk about another whip that was talked about the last time, and that is my Extra Light Bright. I did work on this a little bit. I don't think it's very much, but there is things to be talked about. This is the t-shirt that we're doing a knit along for the Yarn Crawl. As a store, we like to pick out a pattern. Everyone on the 2 Saturdays of the Yarn Crawl come at noon, and everybody that made one, we get a picture of everybody in their tees and see how different everyone's is. This pattern is by Wool and Pine, and this pattern is a color work pattern, essentially. Now, it's not a traditional color work pattern where you're, making a flower or some kind of very obvious design. It's color work in the sense that you are slowly bringing in. So for them, they took 5 skeins of yarn, and they do, I think, 29-ish rows. They do a soft, gentle, not marl. What is the word I'm looking at? Fade. They do like a very gentle fade where it takes 29 rows to fully get from color A to color B and so on. But again, I wanted to use scraps. So this project was kind of before this crochet project where I'm like, oh, I'm going to use scraps and it'll be great. I feel like that is biting me because a lot of the scraps I chose, I had made color combinations. The girls at work helped me put them in order. And let me show you what I have so far. Okay, so what color am I on? I'm just on color 2. Because I'm just having so many doubts with this. All right, so this is the back. It's kind of hard to show you the front with where I got my needles and stuff. But color 1 is most of this. I kept with color 1 until I connected in the round. And so this is how much after the connection in the round I have. After I connected in the round, I started fading. I did not want to do, 30 rows to fade because I have chosen some minis and I use part of these for my Anna Zadora. Not much, but again, at the most I would have like 18 grams. This is not going to get me through 30 rows of fading and then doing some rounds in color. So I kind of had a panic moment after the last podcast and thought, oh, the amount of yarn I picked is not going to be enough because I think 4 of the things I picked were minis. And I'm like, I am, let's see. I am on color 2. I still have a decent amount now, but I'm just fading right now. And it looks beautiful. This isn't a fault of the pattern. This is just a fault of my brain. So you can see this is color 1. And then you can see the colors work nicely together, but you have these like orangish yellow and big splotches of pink. I love how it looks. Maybe I'm overthinking it, which I feel like when a lot of people come into the yarn store and they want us to look at something, a lot of people overanalyze. And, this is going to be a scrappy t-shirt. So maybe I just need to roll with it and whatever yarn I have in here, just be, let it be what it is. But after the live podcast, literally all my yarn has been sitting here because I kept looking at then my stash behind me. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to pull some more full skeins to get some bigger chunks of yarn because I was going through and trying to match things from what I had in my bins. And I'm like, I can't find anything. And so I'll kind of show you. So here's what I'm working with currently. Here is my next one. And again, these are both gritty knits from her All Year Advent. So it makes sense that these are going well together. My idea was to go from these creamy, more pinks to blue because I love pink and I love blue. So these other ones, I kind of put these little, we have these little markers for like advent calendars so you can number them. I put them in order, but these can change. But here's what I have. So what do we think of this? And I kind of really don't want to use this one. This was such a special skein. But again, it's not like I'm going to use the whole one in here. And this one, Mesa Skeins doesn't die anymore. So again, like, do I want to crack these open for this? But these are the ones that I found that could work with the matching. So then, we're going into the more blues. So we can see, I thought this one's, because these are more pink, but this has, some blue in here. And then this definitely has more blues, but still has a little bit of pinks. And then this really cracks into the blue. And then the other ones, let's see, I have number 6 on there. So this is where I kind of, really am questioning myself. So again, after this one, I had this one. But then I thought, is that too purpley? But I mean, there is blues and purples in this one. So this is a lot of blue, pink, and purple in this. And then, again, these can all change. It's not like these are set in stone. I was just trying to play with them. So after this one is this. And like in the screen, I feel like you're not even really getting much different in those. So it's all up in the air. And this is why I've been questioning this project. And unfortunately, I feel like I'm not the only one. Like some have finished this tee already that are customers at the shop. And a lot of people are just really struggling with what colors to use. And it's not the fault of the pattern. The pattern does a good job of laying out how to use your colors, but it's almost so overwhelming of information. Like unless you pick 5 full skeins exactly like what they did, so that you know you can exactly do the fade over the 30 rows, then do a couple of rows of the regular, and so on and so forth, that you'll have plenty of yarn. Unless you're doing that exact method, I feel like you're constantly questioning yourself if you're gonna have enough yarn or if your fade is gonna look right. And I'm still testing the waters with, I wrote what my own fade was gonna be. I think I faded over 5 rows, which isn't much, but it was okay. But I'm still working through yarn pretty fast. So I'm like, is that enough? Do I need to go shorter? So it's just a lot of questioning. I feel like if I was more excited for this tee, that I would just knit and be like, whatever happens with it, and it'll be fine. But I can't wrap my brain around it. And I hate to be like that on the podcast, but I'm just kind of being honest on how I'm feeling. Again, no fault to the pattern. And I love how this is looking so far. I don't know. What do y'all think? Have you made this pattern? Have you made something like this? Am I overthinking it? I don't know. Anyway, so that is the other knitting whip I have. I'm sorry if you're hearing something. It is a neighbor. Sounds like they're moving furniture. The only other thing I've worked on is spinning. So let me bring that up real close. All right, so I've done some more spinning, and I think this is the same bobbin I had started. I had finished plying a bobbin that uses this, which is this. I have some more in a drawer behind me. This is just what I keep on my little IKEA rolly cart. But I'm thinking about maybe bringing this little spinner with me. So I already have all of the green spun. So I have tonight and tomorrow night that I'm still at home. And I'm thinking maybe spin some more here and start plying tomorrow night so I could maybe empty one more bobbin. This is how my brain works, because I spin on my small one and then I ply on my bigger e-spinner. But yeah, not much to say there, just working on the same one. But this does roll right into what I have for acquisitions. We at Arkansas Yarn Co. are now carrying fiber. So exciting. Did I buy all of it? No, because I have drawers of it behind me. But when we were ordering the fiber, I specifically requested wool nylon fiber because I feel like my sock mojo is starting to crank up because I've been working on this sock, and I have lots of partial socks finished around, and I would love to finish those. Yes, Julie, you heard me. Julie is over our Fellowship of the Sock Guild, and every month she's like, I watched your podcast. I didn't see any socks. So I'm trying, Julie. I feel like the sock mojo is there. But I wanted to try some merino nylon fiber to spin for socks. Probably will be DK socks at first, but I have never gotten merino nylon. So we got two different colors in merino nylon. I got some of both. So I will show you that outside of the bag here. And this is called, so it looks like this is Stellina. See all that shiny bits? I don't know if it's coming across as a rainbow, but it is all different colors. So this is merino, let's see, merino and rainbow trilobal nylon. So all that looks like Stellina, that's the nylon. This is still very soft. I'm very excited. This is the colorway Glitzy Raspberry. And this one, Anna braided all pretty for me. This is Glitzy Ocean. So blue and pink again. So if you go on to our website, if you're not local and you're a spinner, we have, let me describe how you purchase it. So all the fiber is online. It is all in store, all out. It's beautiful. You can, if you go in there, you can feel it. But how we have it, you'll see here on the tag, this here says 13 cents. Wow, what a steal. So this is by the gram. So if you order fiber from us, that is 13 cents a gram. You'll see I got 105 grams. That's just the easiest way we can do it. So when you go online, each unit you purchase is 1 gram. So if you buy 1 unit, you're not gonna get very much fiber. So keep that in mind, that it looks ridiculous when you're checking out, because I had to type in 105 units. That's what this is, 105 units, because it's 105 grams. So we weigh just the fiber on a scale, and then so this is 105 units, which is 13 cents per unit. Each different fiber has its own price, but the important thing to note is you need to choose how many units that you want to equal to how many grams. Knowing that approximately, like if you think of 100 grams, that's like a skein of yarn. Now, it depends how you spin, what weight you're gonna get, but just to give you an idea, so I decided to start with, I actually got 105 of each one of these. So that's what it looks like. I really want to spin that, but I have to finish this project and get those into, I have enough bobbins, but to have a couple projects, but I need to finish out some projects, which means spin, spin, ply, get off the big bobbins, get them skeined and washed so that they're complete. Like, I need to see through a whole project with spinning. I just love the process of spinning itself. I love the feel of spinning. I spin just to spin. I have not really knit anything of mine into garments or anything because I just spin to spin. I spin when I don't want to knit. It's just so relaxing. So that's why I think I have a problem with completing a spinning project, because I just want to spin. And it helps if I'm spinning something pretty that I can look at while I'm doing it. And I can spin, I've gotten a good enough feel for it that I can spin for hours and just like watch movies and just spin like crazy. So that's kind of why I want to take it to camping. I need to charge my battery up and my neck light up. So I could easily spin at night when it gets a little darker without worrying about looking at my stitches. So we'll see. But that is all I have. That is my only acquisition. And speaking of spinning, this will go up this Friday. If you have an e-spinner and you are local or local-ish to Arkansas Yarn Co., at this moment we have 2 spots still open. We have an e-spinner class this Saturday given by Karen. She is really an expert in spinning, both in all ways, e-spinners, treadling, all that stuff. But you have to bring your e-spinner in, but you don't have just to have any homework. She has bought specific different types of fiber that you will use during the class, and she will help you navigate your e-spinner. It doesn't matter what kind of e-spinner you have. It is going to be a great class. I'm sad I'm going to miss it, but this is probably going to be the last weekend to go camping before it gets stupid hot around here. So it is what it is. But you should definitely check that out. If you have an e-spinner and you would like to learn how to tension, how to do all this, what kind of fiber would be the best to spin as a beginner, you're going to get all that information from Karen. So go right over to Arkansas Yarn Co., sign up for that spot so that you get in that class. All right, y'all, that's all I have. So I will see you again in a couple of weeks. Bye.